The Welcome to the Show podcast is independently produced by me, CT, and Manny Gomez. Help people find our show by taking 2 minutes to leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you listen. Thank you.
What's up, everybody? It's the Welcome to the Show podcast. This is the part where I usually say that we're brought to you by Audible, but you sons of bitches click on it, but you don't sign up, so fuck it.
Oh.
That's all I'm going to say. CT, what's that?
What's going on? What was that? I don't know. What's up, Manny?
I'm good, man. So this, just real quick, I brought the energy last week. I'm going to try to bring some energy again this weekend. The Yankees take 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers, a World Series preview. Let's take number 28. Let's go Yankees. Woo!
Hey, we go. Red Sox 15 games back. Let me check what the number really is. We are 15 games back. Let's go.
Woo!
One down, baby,
Sox.
since the last time we spoke.
Sweet Caroline. What's the wild
Watch
card?
out.
How far back are you on in the wild card?
6 games. Shawty.
That's doable. You could do that.
Hey, yeah, man. We need the A's. Thanks for getting swept by the A's, by the way. Freaking bastards. The Yankees can't get it done. They definitely lost that on purpose, man.
Do you think that was on purpose?
Yeah. I think there was some purposeness. I think there was some purposeness to it, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a win-win for the Yankees, man. Oakland has a better chance of making it to the wild card, which the Yankees own in the wild card, or own in general. And that game is going to be played. It really doesn't matter, actually, because the Yankees are going to play that series at home, most likely. So,
yeah.
Well, I guess it really doesn't matter.
Currently, the Astros and the Yankees are tied for the best record in baseball. If it continues, then the American League will have home field advantage. I can't. How does it work? It's by the team now, right? Like it went to the All-Star game that was taken away, so whoever has the best record gets home field advantage, right? Or is it just given to the league?
I think it's given to the best record because all they talked about this weekend between the Yankees and the Dodgers was like, this game is important. You know, they want this game 7 to be played in Yankee Stadium or whatever. So I think it's best record.
Okay.
But would you rather? Let's say you were the Yankees last year going into the wild card. Or no, actually, I don't know how to phrase this question, but would you rather face the better team in the playoffs in the 5-game division series, or would you rather face the better team in the 7-game series?
I'd rather face the team I'd rather face the team who's not coming into the postseason red hot. That seems to not be losing anything. I don't know.
Okay,
if that makes any sense.
So would you rather face that team in the first round or in the second round?
I'd rather face them in the second round because I want to give somebody else a chance to eliminate that team. And if that team can't get the job done, I want to give myself as many opportunities as possible to eliminate that team.
Nice.
I literally just pulled that out of my ass right now, and I'm kind of impressed. I'm not going to lie to you.
That makes sense. That makes total sense. It makes so much sense that that's my answer.
Thank you.
If somebody were to ask me that.
Currently, the 2 wildcard teams are the Indians and the Oakland A's. So if the Yankees were to face one of those 2 teams, as a separate question, I think I would rather face. I don't know, man, because the Indians don't have pitching, and you need pitching in the postseason. So I think they match up better with the Yankees. And the A's, you would think they don't have pitching, but Mark Fiers has been pitching pretty good. Sean Manaea is about to come off the DL, and I think he just tossed a gem in the minors. I think he struck out 12 hitters or something. They have a good bullpen.
Wait a second. Sean Manaea is going to come back?
I believe so.
Be a starter?
I believe so. Because I was going to pick him up, and then an arch rival in our league was ahead of that.
Do you think it's kind of BS that guys like Severino will come back, but they won't have enough time to build him up to be a starter?
I think it is kind of BS. By the same token, I think the Yankees have a lot of starters. Maybe not starters that you feel so confident in, but like I was saying at the trade deadline, that if the Yankees don't go after a starter, that they should add another arm and just continue beefing up that bullpen, because you could just shorten the game for a pitcher. So you roll CC out there for a game 5 or whatever, and he hits a 75 pitches by the 4th inning. You have a lot of options. So I don't know how I feel about that.
You think?
I guess I want to see what Severino we're gonna get first.
Do you think we're seeing CC in the playoffs?
I don't know, man. He's been so bad lately that I almost wish that he would just say, or maybe that he could come to the Yankees and come to an agreement where he could be some sort of bench coach or some shit like that. Because I think his presence is important on the field and in the clubhouse. I want him to stay there. I don't want him to just walk away from the game like A-Rod did. Although I think he was forced into it. That's a different topic for another day.
He was definitely forced into it. We should get into it another day. And I know the perfect day to get into it.
Ooh.
For the future.
What? Ooh, okay. But yeah, I don't know, man. He hasn't been good lately, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I could totally see Indians and the Yankees facing off in the ALDS, and like getting down to a Game 5 and CC having to make that start in Cleveland. But that wouldn't be the Game 5 in Cleveland. Game 4 in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I could see it happening. That seems like a 30% type of thing.
Yeah,
going on there.
We'll see. Speaking of 30% types of things, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. Well, not really that much stuff, but maybe. Who knows? Anyway, in the baseball side, there's a couple stories we have. We have the Players Weekend jerseys, an Aaron Judge story, and Trevor Bauer. For the NBA, the Lakers signed Dwight Howard. What idiots. And in the NFL, I want to touch on Daniel Jones with the Giants and Andrew Luck retiring. Let's start, since you mentioned the 30%, let's start with the Aaron Judge story really quick. Yesterday, it came out that it's all good, that he promised a fan that he would hit a home run for him in the game against the Dodgers last night. This is the audio of that.
God bless you, Aaron.
I'll get one for you tonight, all right?
So it sounded like a lot of nothing there, but at the end there, if you really listen closely, he says to the guy, it's like an older man. He says, "I'll hit one for you tonight, all right?" And of course, what happens in the third inning against Clayton Kershaw? He drives one into the right center field bleachers and hits a home run. It was the 99th home run of his career, and it got me to think: is there a conspiracy theory in baseball? Because how many
for
times
moments for people to cry? Yeah.
Moments like that, but I feel like we hear stories like this almost every season where a player promises a kid that he's going to hit a home run or somebody, and then he does it.
Yeah, and it's not just, I mean, those moments I'm kind of hard to remember off the top of my head, but when I just think about like D. Gordon hitting a home run for, after he pays his at-bat tribute to like Jose Fernandez.
Oh, right, yeah.
Or when I think about like, I don't know, man. There's just so many examples of moments like Mike Piazza hitting a home run after 9/11, a go-ahead home run, I believe it was, stuff like that, and Jeter walk off in his last at bat.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a little bit too, the Tyler Skaggs no hitter, all the little things that were found out about that. It's definitely out there, man. It's just entertainment at the end of the day for us. We eat it up.
We do eat it up, but it was crazy because his first at bat, he crushed one, and I thought it was gonna go out. And
I saw that, yeah.
The whole time I was feeling like he's gonna hit this homer. When I saw that story come out, I was like, he's gonna hit one tonight. But then I was thinking too, could it just be that he does a player know when he's starting to feel hot? Because in this past week, Judge hit I think 4 or 5 home runs. He hit a home run in every game this series in LA. Could it have been that he just felt like, I'm hot right now, like I'm gonna be hitting everything out of the park, and he just felt so confident that he just dropped that out there? You know what I mean?
No, I mean I think that's definitely part of it, but what would happen if like Clayton Kershaw intentionally walked him after every at bat of that game, And
Good
he
call.
promised this to an older guy or a kid.
It was an old man. It was an old man in a wheelchair. It seemed like he knew the old man because they were exchanging pleasantries, and Judge said to him, like, I missed you when we were out in L.A. against the Angels. I didn't see you there. And it seemed like he knew this guy. It was an older man with a Yankees cap. He was in a wheelchair. So, yeah.
Here's the conspiracy. They actually filmed that when they got to L.A. on Thursday or Friday, whatever day it was, when he was taking BP for the first time. Mm-hmm. And they were like, we're definitely going to drop this on Sunday.
Hold up. Did he really, or is this you just making this up right now?
I'm making this up, but I'm saying that's the conspiracy. They have all these things filmed throughout the season.
That's going really deep into the conspiracy world, man. This is like,
and also that I'll just blow up my theory right now because he hit a home run in the first game. So why didn't they play it after the first game?
Good point. Right? Because it was Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN.
Yeah, they needed A-Rod there to break that down.
Speaking of A-Rod, going off on a tangent here, how do you feel about him as an announcer?
I kind of hate when he gives me such an analytical answer to something because I don't like that stuff to begin with. Like, he's comparing Aaron Judge's like two stances side by side, drawing a whole bunch of like, you know, straight lines in one and then crooked lines in the other one. I don't know.
He's trying to John Madden the game.
Yeah, like I'm good with that every once in a while, or maybe like a post game thing. But during the game, man, like I just need somebody to speak on what's going on in the game and keep it moving.
So
do you ever notice real quick? Do you ever notice the awkward silence after every time he speaks? It's like they don't know how to like flow in a sense. I don't know if it's A-Rod or if it's just a cast. But I love Matt Vasgersian.
Yeah, I like Matty V too. And what I was just gonna say is that I feel like, and I like A-Rod. I think he's good at his job. I think that he needs to. So I'm a Yankee fan, so I'm gonna sound like a total, you know, like I'm a homer, which I am, but whatever. Like I personally like the input that David Cone and Paul O'Neill puts into games. Like Paul O'Neill reminds me kind of Phil Rizzuto back in the day, where he's kind of just like comedy. Like it seems like he's just enjoying life, and he'll just drop a nugget here and there. David Cone analyzes the game, but I feel like he knows when to step back and let Michael Kay call the game, or Ryan Ruocco, or whoever's calling the game at the time. With the Sunday Night Baseball crew, I feel like A-Rod hogs the microphone too much sometimes. Like I feel like he's talking too much sometimes, and I just want him to be like, all right, I just want to be like, shut up for a minute. Let Matt Vasgersian call the game, and then you could drop in your analysis of what just went down. I don't know if you get that, and I feel like I don't hear Jessica Mendoza too much. Maybe a 3-man crew doesn't work so well.
I don't think A-Rod talks too much. I just think that he is confined, like in his brain, he's confined into speaking of what he's there for. He's there to give you the insights of the game that Matt Vasgersian and Jessica Mendoza can't do because they didn't play. So he's there to give you like the play-by-play breakdown, which is cool and everything like that. But I also don't think that he just needs to be like a robot and just anything that happens in that game, he has to take it to the point of like, hey, he's using that oak red maple. That's the hardest wood in Alaska. And I actually spoke to him before the game. They flew that wood in right before the game and blah, all this stuff. Like go off the script sometimes,
right,
and just say something. And another thing too that I noticed yesterday, we were watching the game here in my house, and Ivy brought it up, like, he can never just take credit for doing something. Like they did a replay of him hitting a home run off of Kershaw, I guess, like in Kershaw's debut. And he's like, I guess I just got lucky and put the bat there. Thank God he threw a strike. I'm like, no, man. Like he attacked you. He went after you and you beat him. Like whatever, take credit. Anybody that's borderline Hall of Fame-ish in Major League, like A-Rod cannot get off his knees fast enough,
Word.
And I gotta disagree with you, by the way. I hate David Cone.
Well, of course you do. Why? Okay, why?
I like Paul O'Neill.
Okay, so why do you like Paul O'Neill and not David Cone?
It's like you said. I feel like Paul O'Neill's comments are kind of funny sometimes, and I feel like the player that, at least I think I know in the sense that you view him as, like he's like a Yankee. I feel like he's more of a Yankee than David Cone. Kind of, he has.
Yeah,
I feel
he spent the majority of his career with the Yankees. Paul O'Neill. He was with Cincinnati first, and then he went to the Yankees. Whereas David Cone was with the Mets, the Blue Jays. He played with the Red Sox. I think he went back to the Mets. Like he spent a lot of time in other places. But I think his formative years. I think if you were to ask David Cone, if he were to make it to the Hall of Fame, which he isn't, I don't think he's even eligible anymore. What cap would you wear to Cooperstown? I think he would wear a Yankees hat. Like I see him as a Yankee because he was a part of that run when the Yankees were winning World Series, and I think he was a big part of it too.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's like the little comments he makes. It's just like, all right, David Cone, keep it moving, man. Like there's a baseball game going on, type of thing. And at first I thought it was just me because I thought like Luigi would always say stuff like, "Yo, like stop hating on the Yankees." But now he says, like, I don't even have to say it. David Cone will be reading like the scouting report. It'll be like, last chance with Mary Jane, guys. Like, look at this guy. See Sabathia? He's about to swing. Look at him swinging the bat here.
Yeah. When he gives you like the 3 points to look for during the game, he always comes up with a saying or something that's very baseball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of it's like I find it annoying too when Bill Ripken does like his Ripken's playbook thing.
Me too.
Yeah, the way that Bill Ripken annoys you, he also annoys me. That's how David Cone annoys me as well too.
Okay,
just so you're aware.
Like if it's a really hot day, David Cone will be like, "It's kind of hot in these rhinos. It's 90 degrees outside."
Yeah, man, I can't stand it. I don't know what it is. But see, if Paul O'Neill did, I feel like Paul O'Neill would do it once. You might not hear him say something like that for like another 10 games or something. It's every inning with David Cone.
Well, yeah, and Michael K. If you listen to the Michael K. show, and I think even during the broadcast now, he just says it flat out that Paul O'Neill is always eating or doing something not related to what he's supposed to be doing at the time. But I love that. I love hearing shit like that, and I like David Cone. So fuck you. How's that?
Well, let's take. Oh, excuse me. I think you asked me. All right, I just came out and said I don't like David Cone after you gave your take on David Cone. So I just had to say, A-Rod over David Cone for sure.
All right. Let's stick to baseball. This past weekend was Players Weekend. Usually a fun thing in baseball. I thought last year, especially, I liked the jerseys. I liked the caps that they were using. This past weekend, I'm not sure what your opinion is on the uniforms that these players had to wear, the white on white, black on black. I thought it was horrible. A couple of things.
Horrible.
One, pitchers. So if you were on the team with the white on white jersey, the home team, pitchers couldn't wear the white cap, so they had to wear black caps. That's one thing. So like they didn't think about that the ball could get lost in the pitcher's fucking head. So you're putting you potentially compromise a pitcher's fucking life there. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but anyway. Then you have issues like Lester refused to wear the black cap when his team was wearing white on white. So then everybody just ended up wearing the Chicago Cubs regular blue cap during that game, which I thought was cool. But in general, you couldn't make out the team names, the numbers. It was weird. It almost looked like a wedding, like the man and the wife, the white dress and the black tux. Like I don't know.
Yeah, to me it looked like they were prisoners. Like they were like it's like the longest yard, and they one is the Warden's team, the other one's is like the prisoners, and this is all you're gonna see: black t-shirts and black and white t-shirts, and that's it. And I hated it so much. And it's like you said, the hat should have been a dead giveaway that this was gonna look stupid. Because when do you ever see a pitcher not wear what the team is wearing?
Right.
I found it pretty funny. I think it was Kike Hernandez like completely doused his helmet in like pine tar. Yeah, I'm like, thank God, man. Do something. I would have. The first thing I would have done is like taken a good slide wearing the white jersey. I would have taken like a good headfirst slide into second or something and just ruined the whole thing. Yeah.
I wonder. I didn't get any takes from players how they felt about the jerseys, except for John Lester that he refused to wear the black cap. But other than that, I wonder what players thought about it. I know that they try to spice it up a little bit this year more than last year. I noticed that people were wearing custom cleats more than before. I think players are wearing like different custom cleats for each game.
Yeah, the cleats were nice.
Yeah, but then you have guys like Aaron Judge, who he looked like he had a leotard on. Like his pants looked like tights. They didn't look like baseball pants. Like it was just, I don't know. I just thought it was a horrible choice. And the hats, like I forgot who it was that was pitching. Maybe it was Ryu or something. His hat almost even looked cheap. Like it looked like a cheap ass. You know what I mean?
You're right. I couldn't even think of that word, but that's what it looked like. Everything just looked so cheap.
Yeah.
What was the point of? It's like you said, they put the names on the back of the jerseys, but we could barely read them. So what was the point of that?
Exactly.
I've watched about 3 highlights throughout the day today of like defensive plays that were made over the weekend, and I can't even tell who the player is. I have to click and read because obviously if I did read the name. If I saw it from the back and all I did was read the name, how am I supposed to know, Judge's was nicknamed BAJ or something, right. So I still didn't know who the player was. I would have to click and actually read. I was like, Jesus Christ, man. Like they couldn't even, this was so uncreative. and such a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ruined everybody. Everybody keeps talking about it. They ruined Yankees versus Dodgers.
Yeah.
You know, like that classic matchup looked stupid.
Exactly. So how do you feel about Players Weekend in general?
I think it'd be cool if they. I like the cleats and I like the bats, and it would be cool if they made it better. But I honestly could care less if they did it or not. You know, I think they should be allowed to wear cleats regardless. The cleats should be like a.
I liked it. I liked the jerseys last year. That like white. It was like the white with for the Yankees. It was like the white with that midnight blue. I think the sleeves are midnight blue or whatever. Maybe it was the jersey and the sleeves were white, and it just looked a lot better last year. One thing you brought up, the bats. I love the bats. I noticed Jose Altuve's bat was Venezuela, was the Venezuelan flag. And I can't remember. There was a Dominican player. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Jonathan Villar. He had the thing in the center of the Dominican flag, the Dios Patria Libertad, and it was blue, red, white, and blue, like the Dominican flag. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Why don't they just let these? I mean, there has to be a reason why they don't do this on the regular.
It's probably like the same shit last year with the cleats. I forget who was the player that they didn't allow to wear a certain type of cleat. The PF Flyers.
PF Flyers, yeah. They can't have all black. I don't know. It's stupid. If they allowed stuff like this, it would look cooler. I mean, I'm sure there'd have to be like a rules against it. Like you can't just put like a specific type of paint that's just gonna chip off everywhere. It probably has to be like an official job has to be done on the bat with designs and stuff.
Yeah, but these players can afford it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm just wondering why they should allow these guys to do that anyways, especially with the cleats.
I feel like that's one of those things kids are going to want to mimic too. Like I could see myself as a kid, had I seen Alex Rodriguez or Vladimir Guerrero step up to the plate with a bat with the Dominican flag on it, I would have tried to imitate that. Like I would have been looking for that bat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. But yeah, they fucked up with the white on white, black on black. I can't even imagine what it must have been like for the announcers. Like if you had some unknown player, like the Yankees have a ton of unknown players. Like Mike Ford was up, on the field. And I was like, who the fuck is that? It's Mike Ford. I can't tell because I can't see his number. I can't see his name. You know what I mean? He just looks like a figure in black clothes on the field.
By the way, that Yankee magic continues, man. Now Mike Ford is hitting. Like, Jesus Christ, man. When will it end?
Mike Talkman looks like he's a real deal. Mike Ford.
Yeah, Ford's killed it in his last, 10 games or whatever.
Domingo Germán. Wow. It's amazing.
Paxton.
Wow. Pitched a gem.
That as of late. Yep.
Beat
Judge.
Ryu. Wow. We could have won that game on Saturday, too. Should have swept the Dodgers. So nice. All right. Trevor Bauer. So this one came up kind of randomly. I saw the Bauer tweet, and I don't know. Anyway, let me just play the sound, and then we'll try to break it down. Here's Trevor Bauer after his horrible outing in Cincinnati. I think it was yesterday.
It was very easy coming in. Everyone did a really good job of making it accommodating, making it easy for me to make the transition. The information is great here. The coaching staff's great here. And overall, I'm a lot happier here than I was. Sometimes you don't realize how unhappy you are in a situation until you're out of it, because it's just kind of day-to-day life. And I miss some of my teammates and stuff, but overall, don't really miss a whole lot about Cleveland.
And to clarify, Trevor Bauer dropped a tweet. He actually linked in his comments from that previous tweet, which came out of Fox Sports Ohio. And in Trevor Bauer's tweet, he said, to be clear, the quote, "not a whole lot I miss about Cleveland," end quote, comment was directly related to the situation I had just mentioned. I will always hold my love for the city, the fans, and most importantly, the great people in Cleveland have a special place in my heart. So I know. So I agree with your comments prior to us starting to record that this is, one of those stories that's being hyped up for no reason, but it doesn't sound good. And my first impression when I heard it was, oh shit, he's taking a shot at Cleveland. But I don't know if it's that I've been programmed to think that because everything is a story nowadays, or if it's that whatever he did say was actually a shot at his old team. So I'm not sure. What was your take on it?
I don't think it was that big of a deal when what he said, how he said it. I think, and I assume that he meant just the team, not that he was taking a shot at the team like we're assuming, but when he said, just to be clear, the not a whole lot I miss about Cleveland, I did just think of that as him referring to what he was speaking on. Like I didn't think it was talking about the city or the organization or whatever, maybe the organization, but how do we know he's not referring to a sense of kind of like being in Cleveland? Like we've been in contention all my years that I was there. I had a lot of success to begin with. I wasn't experiencing that success this year around. Like he was walking a lot of guys, but he was still striking out a lot of guys, and still, a lot of teams would love to have him on their roster. But maybe him getting traded to Cincinnati, like all of a sudden humbled him a little bit, and now he knows what it is to be happy or something.
Yeah.
Maybe what he thought was happy before, him realizing that him being in Cleveland wasn't happy for him. Now that he has Cincinnati to compare, because now he's humbled himself. He's not like this trying to make a business out of baseball type of guy, taking shots at Alex Bregman type of thing.
So you're saying that, and maybe I'm interpreting what you said wrong, but are you saying that there was too much pressure in Cleveland, and maybe he's appreciating being in a situation now where maybe there's not so much scrutiny and criticisms and stuff like that? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying pressure. I'm saying him being Trevor Bauer, who I think the way I view Trevor Bauer in the league is that he's one of the better players in the league, one of the better talents in the league. Mm-hmm. And he also he's had like his controversy with the whole not being able to pitch with his cut in his arm and then taking a shot at the Astros and then accusing the Astros of cheating. He has like that whole kind of history going on.
Yeah.
And so he's more like one of the more popular, outspoken players in MLB, right?
Definitely.
For him to go from Cleveland, which isn't even like the craziest market when it comes to sport to begin with, for him to get traded to Cincinnati, maybe that whole thing humbled him in his own mind. Like now he's come back down to earth a little bit. Maybe now he realized like, holy shit, like I was acting like an idiot before.
Yeah, I guess so.
Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying like I can see how he can say something like that and still not be taking shots. Maybe he's more taking shots at himself.
Okay, I got you. I'm a little surprised by his performance this season, though. And like his strikeouts are good. He's gonna set a career high in strikeouts again this year. But he's giving up a lot of home runs this year. After the season that he had last year, he had the best FIP in baseball. This year, his ERA and his FIP are both high. His WHIP is high, and he's given up 26 home runs already, which is the most he's ever given up in a season in his entire career. In his 5 starts in Cincinnati, you'd think that moving to the NL, he'd perform a little bit better. In his 5 starts in Cincinnati, he's 1-3 with a 7.62 ERA. It's insane what's going on there. So it makes me wonder if maybe you're right, and I didn't think of it. I didn't take it that way. Maybe he was going through a little something, and he's appreciating. He's beating himself up, and it's not taking a shot at somebody else.
Yeah, and we can't just think that things were so bad in Cleveland that he's taking shots at the organization, Or maybe if he's taking a shot, it's because of the way they traded him, maybe after being with Cleveland for so long. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he's taking a shot and saying like, this organization sucks. You were with them for, let's see, he was there from 22 till this year. He's 28. Mm-hmm. That's a long time to be with a team for us to never hear things about like him, him and the organization, him and his relationship with the organization. So if he is taking a shot, it's because of the way they traded him. I doubt that he's saying anything about the city or like the history of the organization and all that stuff. And again, maybe it's just him saying like, I realized I was acting like an idiot. Like I flung a ball over the center field.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Too. Do you think that was like a reaction about himself, or do you think he was like, I'm fucking done. Like I'm gonna get traded. Fuck this. Like I'm just. I believe
that this is what I think. I think he flung that over the wall, knowing that he was getting traded. Like he must have heard it while he was in the dugout or something.
Crazy.
or rumors spoiling around. Because why would he do that?
And the rumors had been going around since the beginning of the season. They were talking about trading him and Corey Kluber before the season even started. And now you're hearing rumors that the Indians might be shopping Francisco Lindor in the offseason. And I think it was the Indians owner who said something to the effect of like
Enjoy him while he's still here.
Yeah, enjoy them while he's still here and making all these comments and shit. And that to me, that's crazy. You have a core in this team. Even when they let Carlos Santana walk to the Phillies, they ended up getting him back. But he was, a legit player, Cleveland Indians. I think he had spent his entire career there prior to being traded to the Phillies. Again, I know he's back now. But why would you even consider trading a Trevor Bauer, he seems like he could be a franchise pitcher? Cleveland seems like the perfect situation for a pitcher like him. Corey Kluber's been one of the best pitchers, in a generation. Francisco Lindor is like one of the most likable, an elite shortstop. He's still young, and you're considering trading these guys like for what? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Hot take.
So I don't know.
I got a hot take.
That franchise baffles me. Give me your hot take.
The Astros signed Francisco Lindor and trade away Carlos Correa.
Oof.
To the Indians.
Wow. Carlos Correa, by the way, what's your take on this guy, man?
I think he's amazing. He's an amazing ball player, but it looks like this injury his injury history is gonna be a common thing. I think it's just gonna be one of those Troy Tulowitzki situations.
It seems like he's always hurt, and I don't know. I'm pretty sure that Edgar Martinez started his career similarly like that, where he was always hurt, and he turned out to be a full-time DH. But this kid, can you imagine Francisco Lindor being a full-time DH?
You mean Carlos Correa?
Carlos Correa. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because he's a really good fielder too. Like he's a legit elite shortstop. But if that's what it has to come to, man.
Yeah. By the way,
his hitting is ridiculous, man. Like he already has 19 home runs this season.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. In 72 games, 19 home runs this season. He was gonna definitely set a career high had he been playing for sure. And he's slugging 556 career high. His on base is 358. He has a 914 OPS. It's almost like I feel bad when I hear stories like this about a player that gets injured over and over and over and over again. I feel bad for them. And Aaron Judge is another one of these players to dial it back. He was getting like I listened to sports radio last week, and some people were even throwing out the idea of trading Aaron Judge, or like this kid is a bust, he's a one-hit wonder, this and that. He got hit by a pitch in his hand. He fractured his hand last year. He missed 2 months. How is that an Aaron Judge problem? You know what I mean? The oblique, I understand. Broken hand. So he missed 2 months in 2 consecutive years. One of them, the oblique injury, I can understand that maybe it's his body type. Maybe he's too big, too strong, or maybe it was just a freak accident. But the broken hand, like, how are you going to put this on this guy? Come on. And when he's on the field, maybe he's not mashing as many home runs as he was in his rookie season, but he's still like for what you're paying this guy, he's still an important commodity that I think any team in baseball would be happy to have.
So you would never be open to trading Aaron Judge?
I would never take anything like that off the table. I'd have to see what I want back in return. But I think the thing with Aaron Judge is that he's such a... They tried to make him the face of baseball. They're putting him on the cover of video games. He has commercials with Pepsi. He has the judges' chambers in right field. They try so hard to make this guy out to be like the Ken Griffey Jr. of our generation. And then when there's times where he's not hitting home runs and not driving in runs, the stuff that from the outside looks pretty and looks good and it looks like he's playing well, that he's not doing those things, people start shitting on him. But when you delve in deeper, even when he's having a bad month, when he's hitting 134 or whatever he was over the last 2 or 3 weeks and not hitting home runs, he was still having a 400 on base. He was still making pitchers throw a shitload of pitches. He was still scoring a lot of runs. Like, he was still doing things to help your team in other areas. But that gets overlooked. They just want to see bombs from this guy. That's it.
I personally think the guy's overrated, man.
You think he's overrated, really?
No, I'm kidding. I don't want to get into a whole like back and forth with you. I don't think he's overrated. I think Judge is a beast. I'm just a little disappointed I drafted him in fantasy baseball. I'm never gonna get over that.
You shouldn't. And I'm with you. And we've said this in the last 2 consecutive episodes. He's not a good fantasy draft pick because he's going to strike out a ton, and he goes on horrible slumps.
His strikeouts have to be down this year at the pace that he was striking out
I don't think
previously.
So.
I think it is. It has to be.
He has 102 strikeouts and 75 at bats, whereas last year he had 152 strikeouts and 112 at bats. But that's the thing, is that you get that impression. Even last year, everybody said, "Oh, I like the adjustments that Judge is making. He's not just swinging for the fences. He's trying to slap the ball. He's hitting better for contact. This, and that." The fact of the matter is, his strikeout rate has stayed consistent throughout his career. It just appears. That's the thing. In baseball, appearances aren't always true. You know what I mean? Like,
let me ask you something. Are we ever gonna see what he put up his rookie year? Like when he won the rookie year? Are we ever gonna see that type of production again from Judge? What do you think?
I think if you give him a full season, I think he's a 40 home run hitter, 100 RBI hitter. I think he's gonna always have a high on base, and but is he a 52 home run hitter year in and year out type of guy? Maybe not. But how many players are? How many players can do that every single year?
I would think Judge is that type. I mean, I would hope to think that he is the 50 home run type of hitter. When we got guys like Christian Yelich and Trout possibly headed towards 50 and Bellinger, I put Judge right up there as a better home run hitter than those guys. Like he should be able to hit more runs. He has the hand-eye coordination to work walks and get pitches. He doesn't swing at anything bad. He doesn't chase. And then he has like this brute strength with the combination of the juice balls. I would like to think that Judge is a 50 home run type of season guy.
How many players in baseball history are 50 home run hitters year in and year out?
Judge. Stanton. No, not year in and year out. No, not that many. But that's why I was asking, do you think we're ever going to see this type of production again?
I think we will. I think we'll see it again. I don't think you'll see it consistently. I think had Judgment had been healthy this year, had the oblique not happened, I think he'd have a ton more home runs, especially with these juice baseballs. He's hit one home run to his pull side, one the entire year. That tells you something. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's not by accident.
Yep.
In my opinion. I cut you off. You were saying something about Correa before.
I've completely forgot what I was saying about Carlos Correa, except that, I remember what I was going to say. We never looked into that whole rib injury with him getting a massage, right?
Oh, right.
Like I don't know any details about that. People must have kept it on the wraps pretty good. But like, what could have possibly like?
I wonder if he went to the Orchids of Asia.
What is that?
That was that massage place that
Chris Tucker and
what the fuck is his name? No, the guy, the owner, Robert Kraft.
Oh,
maybe he got a happy ending and it was too rough. You know what I mean?
Maybe the ending was so happy that caused him to contort his body like in a certain way that he just like pulled his muscles in his abdomen. Exactly,
man. But yeah,
he was just like.
By the way, his most recent injury, he's in the IL now because of back discomfort. And prior to that, it was a fractured rib, which they're saying he got from the massage.
Did Carlos Correa ever sign? No, he's still playing on a rookie contract. I would take this opportunity as the Astros and extend him for cheaper.
Yeah. That's a hot take right there. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, man. Like I could picture Carlos Correa signing for. You know what? Let me just confirm.
Yeah, because I'm seeing that he's making like $5 million this year, and I'm pretty sure is he arbitration eligible? Like, how is he making that much money already?
He must be arbitration eligible.
Oh yeah, he got in arbitration. First year of arbitration, he got $5 million last year. So what would you say? What would you give him at this point? What kind of risk would you take?
$12 million a year.
For what? 10?
Yeah.
Damn.
Nah, he would never sign that. It'd have to be like a 4-year deal. ish type of thing. Maybe 14, 13 million.
It'd have to be higher than what was it that Acuna signed for?
I think like $12 million a year.
God, man, the Braves, man, they fleeced his ass. Holy shit.
He signed through 2026, 8 years, $100 million.
My God. Wow.
Wow.
Do you think he'll hit 40-40 this year?
If he doesn't do it, it'd be because of his stolen bases. He only has 30 for the whole season.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 stolen bases. He would have to. I would like to see him get these out of the way. Like, would you? I don't know about you, man. I know players aren't supposed to think of things like this, but I would be aiming for that 40-40.
Hell yeah.
I feel like that's such a cool
I was just thinking
accomplishment.
That. Yeah.
I would definitely try to.
How many players have done it? A-Rod,
Jose Canseco.
Jose Canseco, Barry Bonds, I think, did it.
That's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, Soriano.
Oh, yeah. Alfonso Soriano did it that 1 year.
Yeah, for the Yankees.
Hell yeah, son. Yeah, I mean, hell yeah. If I had the speed, I'd be trying. The thing is, he already got fucking his coach already benched him 1 game for not hustling. I don't know if I would be ruffling any feathers at this point. That and the Nats are like they're surging, and I know that they have a good lead in the division, a 6-game lead. But the NL East has seen a team blow a 6+ game lead in the month of September twice before. It was the New York Mets, but
yeah,
it's happened recently. So I don't know if they're gonna want him to be fucking around just to for an individual accomplishment.
Speaking of the Nats, man, Juan Soto's having a better season than last year.
Wow, Juan Soto, and he started off slow this year.
Yeah, he really did. Like, he kind of nobody really talks about him, but this guy's a beast, man.
He's a monster, man. He's a monster. And the Nats they have the best run differential in the NL East, and I think they have a pretty good lead in the wild card. This is going to be a tough team to beat in the postseason. Max Scherzer followed by Steven Strasburg. That's tough. Anthony Rendon is fucking amazing this year.
Yep. Trey Turner's coming around.
Yeah, Trey Turner's one of those players that even if he's not what people were projecting him to be, he can beat you on a whole bunch of different levels. He's a good fielder. He's fast. He can hit for contact. He can hit a home run. He could do everything.
Yeah.
This is a good team. It almost makes you wonder, like, what would they be had they kept Bryce Harper right now? Would they be first in the division? Is he worth 6 games to this team?
Well, I mean, who knows, man? Because the Phillies have Bryce Harper, and you see what the Phillies are with Bryce Harper. So, but then again, Philly doesn't have the pitching that the Nationals do. I would have liked to see Bryce Harper stay on the Nationals, but I'd love him in Philly too.
Yeah, Juan Soto's a monster.
Yeah, man. I think the Nationals is very interesting, especially since a lot of people I think had him kind of written off to start the season.
It makes you wonder.
Corbin all that money.
Yeah, there's another pitcher that I forgot. That's a good 1-2-3 punch right there. Scherzer, Strasburg, Corbin. Here's another question: what do the Nats do with Rendon at the end of the season? Because when they weren't in playoff contention prior to the All-Star break, they were talking about trading him. And probably the best move that happened this entire season so far is that they didn't do that, because I think that he's helped them. I don't think him alone. The whole team is playing well, but he's helped them, tremendously to get to this point. Do you trade off? Do you let Rendon walk away like you let Bryce Harper walk away?
Damn, man, I don't know. He's having like an MVP season.
That and Strasburg, I think, has an opt-out this offseason too. So if you lose both of those players, you're fucked.
And I think Strasburg's definitely opting out.
And I think he's having an underrated season too.
Yeah, he is. It's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like they're gonna let him walk.
Do you think they'll let Rendon walk?
Yeah, but I mean, damn, because he could demand a lot of money. I mean, he finished 11th in MVP last year, 6th the year before that. In 2014, he finished 5th in MVP voting. This year, he might finish 3rd in MVP voting.
Who's better than him in the National League? Well, yeah,
Bellinger and
Yelich.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. And then jumping over again to Steven Strasburg, I think he's lived up to the hype in my mind.
Yeah, he has. I'm not gonna lie, especially with the strikeouts.
He has been injury prone, but if you look at his baseball reference stat sheet, he the least amount of games that he started in a season in the past since 2012 was 22 games last year.
And I'll take that.
I'll take that too.
This day and age, I'll take that. I got to look at how he's done in the playoffs because the Nats have gone to playoffs.
I think he has the most strikeouts at this age or whatever, like at 1,645 strikeouts. I think that's the most of any pitcher at this point in their career. He's won 109. I know I'm not a big wins person, but he has a 109 and 57 record for his career.
Whenever you get a chance, look at his splits when he won a game versus when he lost a game.
Oh, God. I don't want to.
Okay.
His postseason stats are pretty freaking good.
Yeah, I'm looking at them now.
If he opts out, okay, so I'm going to turn this about the Yankees again. Here we go. Garrett Cole is a free agent, and if Strasburg opts out, Strasburg is a free agent. You're Brian Cashman. You have to get a starting pitcher, or you're going to get eaten alive by the Yankee fans. Who do you get?
Between Strasburg and
Garrett Cole.
I'm taking. Oh. I think I might have to go with Garrett Cole.
I think I am too.
It would be so typical of the Yankees to sign Strasburg and him to have to undergo like surgery.
Yeah.
Because he gets injured all the time.
And now Garrett Cole has the tricks from Houston. They're doing something down there. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, it just sucks that nobody's really left that team except for Charlie Morton. I mean, he's carried it with him too.
Mm-hmm. They're doing something. There's no doubt in my mind. Are you looking at his baseball reference?
Strasburg's?
No, Garrett Cole's.
No, but I could imagine he has a lot of bold spread around.
Since joining the Astros, yes. And this is the one that stands out to me. This is his strikeouts per 9, and then we have to talk about other sports. This is his strikeouts per 9 in his first 5 seasons with Pittsburgh. 7.7, 9.0, 8.7, 7.6, 8.7. That's in Pittsburgh. He goes to Houston. He has a 12.4, and now he has a 13.1 strikeout per 9 ratio. Prior to coming to Houston, the most he had struck out in a single season was 202 batters. Since joining the Astros, he struck out 276 last year, and he's at 238 this year. Something's going on in Houston.
Yeah. And I would take Garrett Cole too because he seems to definitely not get injured as much as at least in the last 3 seasons.
He's younger too.
He is younger, yes, and he's an American League pitcher. I think that says something.
Yeah. Agreed.
You know?
That he competes in the American League. He's shown that he could do it in the American League. And
postseason experience.
And he has the tricks now. That's most importantly.
Yep.
All right. That was your baseball segment. Let's move on to basketball. This is going to take maybe 1 minute. The Lakers signed Dwight Howard.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wow. And originally what I wanted to do was to go through some of these tweets that I had seen on Bleacher Report from Lakers fans because they were making me crack up. I was watching them like on Saturday night, I think it was. But I think I'm not even going to bother.
I'm listening to one right now.
Like I think the Ja Rule one is funny. The one with that white girl, that one was pretty funny.
Oh, I guess not.
Yeah, like wait, let me see if I can play this real quick.
You know what? No. Well.
Damn. Play the Ja Rule one real quick.
Here's the Ja Rule one. Dwight Howard to Lakers Nation. Here we go.
Are we ready?
The crowd is silent.
I guess not.
If I was Ja Rule, man, I would have.
Oh, that's
I would have been so embarrassed, man. I would definitely not done the show.
This one was funny too. I mean, it's funnier if you watch them, but this was John Hamm when he hosted the ESPYs, and they have the camera fixed on Dwayne Wade.
We thought it would be nice to honor Dwight Howard by taking a look at his greatest moments as a Laker. So let's run that.
There was nothing. Dwayne Wade is cracking up. It's pretty messed up.
See, but the fact that they had the camera fixed on Dwayne Wade makes me think like, hey, we're gonna pan to you when we talk about Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to you directly.
Oh my goodness.
They're probably like, you're pretty cool with Dwight Howard. He's not gonna get mad seeing you left, but we got to show somebody a big, big celebrityness laughing.
And I read somewhere that him deciding to leave, I think it was with Memphis. He lost some money, and they were gonna cut him, which that would have been a hit to them on their salary cap, but because he left on his own volition and signed with the Lakers, they're like scotch-free. They don't have to worry about him at all. So,
Jesus,
it's fucking crazy. To be honest with you, for LeBron's sake, I hope that this works out. He's a big body. I would just say stay down there and grab rebounds and pass the ball.
Listen, I hope this works out for LeBron too, because I am a LeBron fan at the end of the day. But do the Lakers and LeBron really need the Dwight Howard show to join them there? I mean, you already got Rondo, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Is he still on the team?
I believe so. Yeah, I think so.
LeBron, Anthony Davis. Now you're gonna add Dwight Howard. The guy just attracts like negativity lately in his career. Anthony Davis is gonna attract negativity for wanting, forcing the Pelicans to trade him. LeBron already has like that, all the stuff that LeBron comes with. Do they really need Dwight Howard, man? Like, I feel like it's gonna just bring unnecessary attention.
Yeah,
so LeBron.
Rondo is still with the Lakers. Yes. Yeah,
it just doesn't. I don't know, man. I feel like, I mean, real like talking in all seriousness, yeah, Dwight Howard at one point was one of the more dominating players in the NBA, but has not been that.
No, and the fall, his fall from grace happened like really fast.
Yeah, as soon as he joined the Lakers.
Yeah, and whatever happened that offseason too.
What, this offseason?
There was some controversy surrounding whatever happened with him before he signed with the Lakers, and then he was a bust, and they got rid of him like within 1 year.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was a disaster. All right, that was NBA.
Yeah, nice.
All right, let's move on to the NFL real quick. The big story is Andrew Luck, but I just want to touch on something as a Giants fan. Daniel Jones. So full disclosure, I haven't watched a single preseason game this year because preseason is bullshit and the Giants have sucked, so I'm kind of down on football lately. But I was listening to a talk show and they were praising Daniel Jones, praising his graces, and they were talking about how Shermer is kind of gloating a little bit because they said they thought that he was having a bad offseason, but it's turning out that his draft picks are panning out, especially the Daniel Jones draft pick. So I pulled up his stats. In the preseason, he's 25 for 30, 369 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 140.1 QBR. In looking at pictures of him, he looks exactly like Eli Manning. And the question was, is there a possibility that the Giants decide to let him start the season? Or do you think Eli is just going to start?
I think Eli's definitely going to start. And I think Eli's going to be given a chance of good 8 games maybe until they bench him.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe Eli's going to start. They can't do Eli like that, man.
They already did him like that in the past, and I agree. I don't think they'll do it again because he has.
You're talking about when they benched him.
Yeah,
you're talking about when they benched him that one game. I mean, that was more Ben McAdoo, right?
That fucking asshole. Yeah.
That slick-haired bastard.
That piece of shit.
That guy. I think I saw him send out a tweet, and I know he wasn't doing anything like NFL related.
Okay.
When they traded Odell or something, but no, I mean, you know what it is though? Like, it is the preseason, and those numbers are impressive, but it's the preseason. Let's be honest. Yeah, right. And the worst thing you'd want is for him to, start game 1 having Eli there, See, because when the Jets let Sam Darnold start, who was the backup? Like, there was nobody there. Yeah, so the fact that, Daniel Jones could start a game and, just shit the bed and not perform, having Eli there, like, you're going to hear people say, like, I can't believe the Giants started this guy over Eli or something.
Yep.
Like, if Sam Darnold shit the bed when he started, they wouldn't have anything really to compare him to or to complain about. Like, that's their rookie quarterback.
I wonder.
So no, I don't think Daniel Jones is starting at all.
I wonder if this, in any way, shape, or form, lights a fire under Eli's ass. Although I don't know if that's even possible. But if he starts the season all guns blazing, like if he all of a sudden turns into a completely different quarterback.
From what I hear is that the offensive line's gotten a lot better, right?
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing too.
So who knows if that's, that was the knock on, that's for anybody that was defending Eli last year. That was the biggest knock, that he didn't have any good protection. So now that he will have good protection, it's already like 2 years too late or whatever. But now that he does have good protection, who knows if that's all he needed. I still don't think Eli's like a horrible, talent. I still think he could throw the football if given enough time. So
I don't either. But he's not what the NFL is today, and he's not Tom Brady. But he also doesn't have the supporting cast that Tom Brady has either. But I think that he has to retire sometime soon. I think after this season he's done with the Giants. He'll go somewhere else, and he's gonna fade off into the sunset on another organization. But
when you talk about the cast Tom Brady has, though, like, who does he really have that the Patriots don't turn in?
Anybody they bring into that team, the system that team has, nobody else in football does that. They talk about.
I was gonna say.
They talk about that team changing systems like week to week, and their players have to like study the fucking playbook like every single day. And if they don't study it properly, they don't care who it is, they cut them. It's insane.
You said Bill Belichick. I thought you were gonna say like the talent that he has. So I'm like, besides Gronk in his prime, maybe, but like, who did he really have?
Yeah, right. I agree with you. The only time that I remember Tom Brady having an elite receiver or somebody other than Gronkowski, it was Randy Moss, and Randy Moss was on the decline when he came to the Pats, and all of a sudden he was, him and Brady paired up for like 50 TDs or some shit. Like, it's crazy.
Tom Brady's the GOAT.
I think Daniel Jones. I think they drafted this kid. He had experience. He wasn't like one of these rookie. He came in his freshman year, lit up the scoreboard. I think his college team had a losing record. He has the experience. He has the poise. I think if he can fit into the system, it looks like he's NFL ready for sure. But I think they start with Eli. They see where the season goes. If they're, after week 8, if they're, 1-7, 2-6 or some shit like that, I think Daniel Jones comes in. If they're 500 or better, I think Eli finishes the season, and then they say goodbye. And Daniel Jones starts the year in 2021 with the Giants. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We'll see. Either way, it's exciting. It's making me want to watch football again. But we'll see what happens. All right.
Good luck with that, man.
Yeah.
You deserve it. You deserve a good football season.
Do you want to talk Bills? Do you want to talk anything about the Bills going on? You want to talk about?
I do not want. Nope.
Before I jump into Andrew Luck, I spoke with someone this past week, and I'm going to give a shout out to Frankie because he said he listens to the podcast and he watches Hard Knocks. So remember last week I had mentioned that maybe there's a conspiracy theory with HBO Hard Knocks and Antonio Brown's situation. He says he watches it week in and week out, and he said that in the show it is openly spoken about what the helmet issue is with Antonio Brown. And what he claims they say in the show, I haven't watched it, is that Antonio Brown is using the helmet as a scapegoat for whatever's happening with his foot. And that apparently Gruden has praised him for doing that on the show.
Oh, so you're saying like the real issue is his foot, but he doesn't want that to come out?
I guess so. That's what it sounds like.
So he hasn't practiced yet?
And that's the thing. Last week I had talked about how I'd seen conflicting reports where people are saying that he's not practicing, but then John Gruden on ESPN said that he was practicing, but as soon as the helmets were to come on, he walked off the field. So I don't know. I don't watch the show, so I'm not sure. But it sounds like the foot issue hasn't been resolved yet, and he's using the helmet as a scapegoat or whatever.
Damn.
I don't know.
I didn't know that at all. I haven't watched Hard Knocks though because I don't have HBO anymore. So
yeah, I have HBO Go. I use somebody else's account. Don't take it away from me, HBO. But anyway, I wanted to throw that out there because I don't know if you had heard something about that. So here's the big
I haven't
story.
heard anything about that.
The big story is Andrew Luck. At age 29, I think I've drafted him in the last 2 NFL fantasy leagues that I'm a part of, and but I retired this year officially. I'm not doing NFL fantasy. I can't do it anymore. He signed a 5-year contract in 2016 worth $122 million. He was set to make $9.125 million as a base plus a $12 million bonus this season. Then he was going to make $11 million as a base and an $11 million bonus next season. Andrew Luck has decided that he's going to retire.
Hello.
Yep.
This certainly isn't how I envisioned this or planned this. But I am going to retire. This is not an easy decision. Honestly, it's the hardest decision of my life. But it is the right decision for me. For the last 4 years or so, I've been in this cycle of injury, pain, rehab, injury, pain, rehab. And it's been unceasing and unrelenting, both in season, and off season. And I felt stuck in it, and the only way I see out is to no longer play football. It's taken my joy of this game away, and this.
Then he breaks down, starts to tear up and stuff, and he continues. This is pretty shocking to one, that he's walking away from so much money, and that he's 29 years old and deciding that he's going to walk away from football. And I have a theory about this too, but before I get into that, it speaks to, in my mind, it speaks to the state of football currently. Yes, it's the number one sport in America. It gets the most rating of anything. It has the most money, so on and so forth. But recently, a study was conducted showing what kids are playing most of in terms of sports. And it turns out that basketball is the number one sport that kids are turning to. Then it's baseball, and football's down the list. Kids don't want to play football anymore. Now you have a superstar like Andrew Luck, who you could argue when he's healthy, he's one of the best quarterbacks in football, maybe the best quarterback in football. He's walking away from the sport. It shows that football is currently in a good position, but it's not looking good for the future. I don't know if you have a take on this or how you feel about the retirement or whatever, but that's kind of how I feel about this right now. That's the first thing that popped into my mind is football is in trouble in the future if this is happening.
You really think so?
I think so, man. I really do. I mean, think about boxing. Think about boxing. It was the number one event for years and years, for decades. And nobody wants to box. Nobody wants to take these blows to the head and do this shit anymore. You know what I mean? There's other options out there. And
so you think that?
And why would you play football when you could pick up a basketball and play anywhere? You know what I mean?
So you think like the level of talent that the thing is that I feel like, is that ever going to go? You're right, because it did happen in boxing. But is it ever going to go away? Like, do we think we'll ever see the downgrade in talent if the level of talent is going to, like, the bar will be set somewhere? You'll still have like your all-time greats performing, but you'll still have like the rest of the league that's like in the averages. You think we'll notice that wave of talent leave?
I think that there's always going to be talent because, like in baseball. Like baseball is in terms of popularity, it's at a low right now. Although the future looks good because kids are playing it and they want to play it. But there's still a tremendous amount of talent. So I think that there's still going to be talent there, and I think that it's going to be healthy because of the gambling aspect of it. I think that football is very popular now because of gambling and because of fantasy sports. I don't think it's because of the content. I mean, I know that I said that I'm biased because I really love baseball, but we've spoken about this in the past. Go to a live football game. The only thing fun about a live football game is the tailgating prior to it. Other than that, a live football game sucks. There's nothing fun about it.
It's not like baseball.
It's not like baseball. It's not like basketball. It's not like hockey for sure. I think that there's going to be a ratings decline. I think there's going to be money being taken away from the sport, and I think that the popularity of the sport isn't gonna stay as high as it's been. And I think that it's been shown over the last few years that it is losing in popularity. And some of it is the Kaepernick thing. Some of it is Donald Trump and all this stuff. But I think most of it is people don't want their kids playing the sport. It's starting to turn into like a rated R event. Like I know some families who don't want their kids to watch it because of some of the hits that these players take. It's getting a lot of negative press. I personally have no problem with it. I think it's a game, and that's just what the game entails. But I don't know. Don't you think it's weird for a guy this age to retire with so much money on the table?
Yeah, I feel bad for him too, because I always felt like Andrew Luck played like he gave it all he had, kind of. Like I never pictured him being like a player that was like greedy or like took nights off or whatever. So I just feel really bad for him, because the way that he says like the state of where I was originally in 2016 or 17, whenever he suffered that injury where he missed like a season, he said it was like hell. So for him, it was like hell. So I can't blame him for not wanting to go through that. And for people that kind of booed him, they need to realize, like, look how much money he's leaving on the table. Like, do you really think he wants to do that? Or do you really think that he planned to kind of like screw everybody over with like weeks before the season?
Right. When
they had all this like, good projections going into the season and stuff. So just that alone should tell you that he really, really like might hang himself if he has to go through all that again.
Exactly. And not just that too, but think about what he's gone through already. Like they did not do anything to protect this guy for all those years. He was taking some vicious hits. Like I don't have the stats right in front of me right now, but I'm pretty sure he led the league in sacks for like multiple years.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at the numbers now, and I have an interesting thought about this. So he started in 2012. He started 16 games, 16 games, 16 games. I'm pretty sure he was getting hit all this time, and I'm looking at the numbers. 41 sacks his rookie year, it wasn't lead.
That's a lot of sacks.
League. Yeah, it is a lot of sacks. 41, 32. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I just want to say it wasn't league leading. 41, 32, 27, 15, 41, 2016, and 18 last year. So that was crazy improvement for him to only gotten sacked 18 times last year. But what I mean is, like, he started every game, first year, second year, third year. Then he missed some time. Then he came back, missed the whole year. Then he started every game last year. But what I'm wondering is, like, Eli Manning didn't have an O-line last year, and he always seems to avoid injuries by just getting rid of the ball. Do you think players just need to, like, start being more like Eli Manning?
Maybe. But I think that their offensive line was like, I think it was again, I'm not a football expert, but it was being discussed as like almost like irresponsible, the type of offensive line the Colts had. And just looking at his stats, aside from his sacks, he had 23 touchdowns, 40, 15, 31, and 39 last year. His completion percentage, he has a 61% completion percentage. He has a career, he averages around, I would say somewhere between 65 and 70 QBR. He's 4,600 yards last year, 4,200 yards a year before that. He's a really good quarterback. So here's my theory. I don't think that this is permanent. I think that he's going to get himself better this year, take a year off, get healthy, and he's going to come back next year. I would almost be shocked if he didn't return next year.
What? I mean,
I don't think he returns with the Colts, but I think he returns next year.
Can I ask you why? Okay, so why do you think he's going to return?
I just don't. A player of this caliber, 29 years old, he could play for another 6-7 more years at this level. Why would you? I mean, and if you would imagine that he loves the game, he just doesn't want to go through the turmoil. The like he said at one point, he said it was pain, injury, recovery, or whatever, that was the process for so long that he can't do it anymore. I don't know. You would imagine how could you just leave like that?
You know, I'm probably less of a football expert than you are, right? And strictly from my experience in playing Madden NFL, right? My experience playing Xbox 360 Madden and PS4 Madden, all that stuff. Calvin Johnson retired the same way, except that I don't think he ever suffered such a big injury like Andrew Luck did, where he missed a year. I would have to pull up the stats, but I feel like Calvin Johnson is a Hall of Famer, where Andrew Luck is not a Hall of Famer yet since he retired. And I don't see why he would come back if he can just as easily do that without retiring.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. But maybe maybe the retiring was to end the relationship with the Colts. Maybe there's something there.
Why not just demand a trade like everybody else does?
That's a good point. I mean,
I don't know. I'm not disagreeing with you, because that a lot of people think he's going to come back, but I just don't see why he wouldn't just, come back on his own terms. I don't think anybody can force him to come back. The doctors wouldn't clear him. And
did Calvin Johnson leave money on the table? I mean, he left potential money on the table. He was, one of the best wide receivers in the game for sure.
Yeah, he was 30 when he retired. I'm looking at it now. He was 30 when he retired, and he was a monster.
He was a monster, man. He was a beast. I had him on my fantasy team 1 year too.
I don't know what he left on the table, to be honest with you. He retired in 2015. I was keeping up with football less back then than I would now. But still, man, I don't know.
I guess I just I don't recall ever seeing a player under contract walk away from the game like that. And it was like during the game that the reports came out. So yeah, there was just something weird about the whole situation. Like, I feel like there's more to it than what we're seeing on the surface.
What a shocker, man. I remember when he got drafted. The RG3 also followed. Crazy, man.
Crazy. And, he followed in line with Peyton Manning. And then you saw that and you were like, holy shit, like the Colts are going to be in good shape. But then he was getting fucking creamed, man. I just remember seeing him take some hits and I was like, fuck. But you're right. Yeah. Maybe he wasn't getting rid of the ball soon enough or something. I don't know. Maybe this is on him, but it's.
I mean, what I mean is, like, when a rushing quarterback gets injured, because they're running all the time and getting hit, people say, why doesn't this guy slide? Why doesn't he go out of bounds? Yeah. Why doesn't he get rid of the ball, before he gets hit or something? And then it kind of falls on them. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but it's funny. Like, it's weird how Eli Manning has managed to avoid like those types of hits.
Yeah. And Manning took some hits too. I mean, I remember, I think it was against the Packers in the post. It was like one of the years that they won the Super Bowl. He was like bleeding. He was taking such vicious hits. And at that time, the O-line was good enough. But he's a pocket quarterback. He just stood there. And I know that Luck is, for the most part, a pocket quarterback. But I recall seeing him running around. Maybe he just, I don't know. Maybe he just, it's like Brett Favre. He just didn't want to he didn't want to just give up on a play. I don't know. Kudos to him, though. I can't understand why people are shitting on him or why he got booed when he was walking off the field. It doesn't make any sense to me. For someone to make this kind of decision, like you said before, it had to be weighing on him, and it can't be easy for somebody to just walk away from the game like that. So good for him. I hope that we get to see him again, but if not, like, I don't know if I could walk away from that much money, but good for him for putting himself ahead of a stupid game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I find it so funny, all the memes that came out of this, like NFL fantasy football owners after Andrew Luck retired. It's like all those memes that came along with it.
Oh man, yeah.
And there was a funny one where it was like, "Oh, this I followed this really funny IG called Freezing Cold Takes." where it's like people make these hot takes, but they end up being cold takes because the complete opposite happens.
Yeah.
Like it'll be like my sources are telling me that Kawhi Leonard's definitely returning to Toronto, and he ended up going to the Clippers or whatever. But there's this really funny one with it's like a DirecTV commercial about like getting the NFL package, and it's a Colts fan like and Andrew Luck doing like best friend stuff. Like it came out this year, that commercial.
Oh my goodness. Ay. Well, what are you gonna do? All right.
Play fantasy football.
Not play fantasy. I'm glad I retired because I probably would have drafted Andrew Luck again.
Yeah, he would have been the safe bet.
I love the guy, man. I think he's a really good quarterback. He's ugly as hell, but he's a good quarterback. Not that I look at him that way. But when I was watching him, the video of him when he retired and he announced it to the media, he's just like a weird looking dude, man. He has a lot of hair everywhere, but he's bald almost on top. He's a strange looking guy.
He is a strange looking guy, and it was so awkward. He's like, "That's not how I imagined doing this, but I am retiring."
Yeah.
Jesus.
So there's that. There's that.
See ya.
Take care now. Bye then. All right, ladies and germs. I think that's it. I think that's all I got on the sport. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Nah, man. That's all I got.
All right. Don't forget to check out our Friday episode. We're going to talk about Ace Ventura. And like I always say, please take 2 minutes to leave a 5-star rating or review wherever you listen. That's all I got. Sete.
Take care now.
La paz esté con usted y con su espíritu. All right, peace.
Damn, man. Peace.
I just brought God into this.